This time, it's a story about the protagonist preventing a terrible plan devised by his cheating wife and her lover. Enjoy. My cheating wife had the worst personality as a human being. I want you to hear the details. There are a lot of terrible people out there. Take your time. I'm a company employee in my 20s, and I met my cheating wife when we were students. My cheating wife was known for her beautifulness since her student days, even being chosen for things like the university's beauty pageant. But I wasn't really interested in women's looks and had a nerd disposition, so I thought I could never get a girlfriend. The opportunity for me to start dating my cheating wife came suddenly. When I was spending a day at university as usual, my cheating wife suddenly talked to me. "Hello. Nice to meet you." After that, she started telling me about herself, but at first, I was very cautious. This kind of thing had happened to me before. Even though I'm an ugly nerd, I have something that attracts women. It was money. My father is the president of a somewhat well-known company, and my mother is an executive at that company. As long as I didn't go down the wrong path, I was destined to succeed my parents and have a future as the second-generation president. Women who found out about this for some reason would approach me. In such situations, these women would always start by talking about my money or my parents' company. "Your father is the president, right? So that means you'll be the president in the future? Your parents' company is famous, right? That's amazing. I want to visit your house." It was like this, so I was fed up. I couldn't trust these kinds of women. I couldn't even imagine dating such women, and this was one of the reasons I couldn't get a girlfriend. That was my situation, but my cheating wife alone started with a proper greeting and talked about herself. And she didn't mention my parents at all in the conversation and seemed to be enjoying talking with me. It was odd at the beginning, but I became interested in my cheating wife and began going out to various places with her. As time passed, we grew closer and started dating. Even after we started dating, we got along well, but there was one shocking thing she said to me. It was my first night with my cheating wife. For me, it was the day I could lose my virginity. When I finally took off my underwear, my cheating wife said something sad to me. "Ha, it's small." I got shocked by the word, and shrank back at that time. I couldn't lose my virginity that day. It was such a big shock and it didn't go well. But other than that, our relationship was going well, so after graduating from university, I proposed to my cheating wife and we got married. As a gift from my father, we were able to have a grand wedding ceremony. My cheating wife was also surprised by the grandeur and was ultimately very happy. My wife and I started living together, I got a job at my father's company, and my cheating wife became a housewife. Got married without physical intimacy? At this point, I was still a virgin. You've taken a bit of risk. I was struggling with my new life, but I was living a fulfilling life. I hadn't got used to my job, so I spent days studying even after work. It was like that every day, but when I came home, I had someone who would say, "Welcome back, honey. You must be tired." Just this was enough to blow away daily fatigue. In such a state, my days filled only with happiness. It would have been nice if it were like that, but it wasn't. The only thing that wasn't going well was sex life with my cheating wife, and I still hadn't had sex with her. Wanting to clear this hurdle no matter what, I decided to go to the hospital to get examined. Thinking there might be some problem with me, I took a step forward despite feeling embarrassed. My cheating wife was also concerned about my health, so she decided to accompany me to the hospital. We arrived at the hospital, and I was quite nervous. After going through the reception, I waited to be called by the doctor, but this waiting time felt really long. A few minutes later, I was called by the doctor, underwent an examination, and had to wait again to hear the results. Then time passed, and I was called by the doctor again to be told the examination results. There's no problem with your bodily functions, so it's psychogenic ED. I didn't know there was such a disorder, so I decided to ask the doctor for more details. Apparently, ED caused by psychological or mental factors is called psychogenic ED. Not only mental illnesses like depression and schizophrenia but also problems like stress at work or marital issues, as well as various traumas, can happen to anyone, and the causes vary from person to person. I thought my cause might be that the words from my cheating wife on that day when we were supposed to have sex for the first time. I had no experience with women, but I wondered that the words from a woman alone could cause this. However, since I couldn't definitively say that was the cause, I was to go to the hospital for treatment from then. But there was one thing that bothered me while I was at this hospital. It was that I felt my cheating wife's attitude suddenly turn cold after my examination results came out. Even while listening to the doctor, she seemed half-hearted, and when the examination results came out, she yawned. I was also surprised by this behavior, but this situation is because of my health. I'm sorry. I'll work hard to fix my body. I said something like that, but my cheating wife answered me in an uninterested manner. Ha! Good luck. My cheating wife's response wasn't words like "let's work hard together" or "I'm supporting you," but like this. It felt like she had no interest, so I felt something was off about my cheating wife's words. After that, my cheating wife changed as if she became a different person, and that tormented me. First, my cheating wife completely gave up chores she had been doing until now. My cheating wife had been preparing the meals, but she stopped cooking completely. And since she didn't do laundry, it piled up, and she didn't clean the house, so everything was covered in dust. I couldn't ignore the house in this condition, so I decided to talk to my cheating wife. Hey, you've recently stopped doing anything around the house. Why did it become like this? I can help out a bit, but I can't do all the housework. When I said this, my cheating wife didn't apologize and instead lashed out at me. Ha! What are you saying suddenly? If you want to give me your opinion, become functional as a man first and then talk to me. Someone who isn't like that has no right to complain. You only have the right to be in this house if you can handle all the housework and everything else. Got it? I didn't really understand what my cheating wife was saying, but apparently, she's dissatisfied with my body's problem. I felt sorry we didn't have sexual intimacy, but it wasn't like I intentionally became like this. I tried to appeal that I want her to understand my feelings too, but it's true that my cheating wife can be seen as the victim. Being unable to say anything to my cheating wife, I ended up doing all the work and housework. Since I was living like this every day, I became exhausted and my speed of learning work also slowed down. I wanted to get used to work quickly, but the fatigue made my mind stop working. But my cheating wife doesn't seem to care about my condition at all and continues not doing any housework as before. Moreover, she started to went out quite a lot, and there were days when she even didn't come home. Anger welled up towards such my cheating wife, but we'd end up arguing whatever I say. So I kept silence and left her alone. Since things were like that, my cheating wife gradually started getting carried away. Perhaps because I wasn't saying anything, my cheating wife's extravagance became worse. She would buy many brand name items and eat out. I found out from the credit card usage history, but she was surprisingly making revolving payments. My parents might be wealthy as they're the company president, but I'm still a newbie and my salary isn't very high. My wife is a housewife, so she can't get a credit card, and she was shopping with my credit card. I couldn't overlook this, so I decided to talk to my cheating wife when she was at home. Hey! What's with this credit card statement? Why are you spending so much? You know I don't make enough to pay this kind of amount, don't you? I spoke a bit bullishly to my cheating wife because I seriously wanted her to stop. There was little chance she would listen to me, and as expected, my cheating wife lashed out at me without listening. It's not a big deal. I'm stressed because of you. This amount of shopping is no problem at all. Besides, your father is the company president, right? Just have your father pay for this. Or your father isn't a stingy man like you, is he? I got angry that my cheating wife brought up my father's money. Until then, she had absolutely never mentioned that, but she finally said something I didn't want to hear. You never mentioned my parents' money before, so why are you trying to rely on that now? I was attracted to you because you weren't like that. I thought you saw me for who I am. I said this, but my cheating wife spewed out everything she had been thinking. What are you misunderstanding? Without your father's power, you're just garbage. It's obvious I married you because you'll be the president in the future and become rich. And yet you're telling me not to talk about money. Are you stupid? On top of that, you don't even function as a man. It's small and smelly down there, you're hopeless. What's attractive about you? My cheating wife said what she wanted, then suddenly ran out of the house. I couldn't stop my cheating wife, I was just dumbfounded. After that, I tried to reach my cheating wife by phone, but I couldn't get through her at all. I didn't know what to do in this situation, but for now I thought about what I should prioritize. The one thing I could do based on what my cheating wife said was to try to cure my health issue. Maybe if my condition got better, my cheating wife would change her opinion of me. At that time, I couldn't make level-headed judgments and I was in dreamland. I thought being diagnosed by one doctor might not be accurate enough, so I decided to get a second opinion. I was planning to find another hospital and get an examination there too, for now. And there, I witnessed an unbelievable sight. When I arrived at the other hospital, my cheating wife went into the hospital with a man I didn't know. I got into a panic in this situation and I didn't know what to do. I got too scared to call out to them, so I followed the two of them instead of seeing a doctor. I followed them without being seen, but the place the two headed to was, of all things, the obstetrics and gynecology department. Judging from this situation, my cheating wife may be pregnant with that man's child. My heart was pounding as I was watching closely their actions. I followed the two for a while, but during that time, I couldn't stop sweating. In the midst of that, the two came out of the examination room with somewhat complex expressions. After that, they headed to the waiting room, so I moved to a place where I could hear their conversation but not to be seen. Then unbelievable words came out of their mouths. I really did get pregnant. A baby. What should we do? Yeah, what should we do? I was shocked by their conversation and almost let out my voice. But I managed to hold it and, without saying anything, quietly listened to their conversations. I kept listening like that, but their conversation heated up further. Hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep the baby? Ha! I can't afford to raise a child. We can't keep it. Then for now, let's keep it and say it's my husband's child. I'll try to have sex with him first. And make it seem like I got pregnant with his child then. After that, I'll divorce him for some reason that's his fault. And kick him out of the house and company. Then I'll cozy up to his father and persuade him to make you the next president. That way you'll become president, and after that we can make this child the next president too. Then we can create a setup where money just comes in without us doing much of anything. That sounds good. Let's go with that plan. I get to become president too, awesome. This is what they were saying. Even I was taken aback. There's no way such a nonsensical plan would work, and they were scheming to trap me behind my back. This made me feel despair, but at the same time, I felt tremendous anger building up inside me. I decided to divorce my cheating wife over this and take revenge on the two of them. The protagonist happened to find out about his cheating wife's affair. The cheating wife plans to make her lover's child the protagonist's and take over the protagonist's company. However, the protagonist decides to stop this and take revenge. How will the protagonist take action after this? After that, I decided to first investigate the two behaviors in order to gather evidence of my cheating wife and the other man's affair. I knew my cheating wife used social media, so I decided to check her social media first. It was my first time looking at my cheating wife's social media, and it was quite glamorous. And as I looked into her social media, I found an account of a man she seemed unusually close with. When I looked at that man's account, I caught glimpses of my cheating wife's presence. But with my abilities, this was the best what I could do, so I decided to hire a private investigator. I went to a private investigation firm and told the investigator everything about the current situation. The investigator fully understood my story and agreed to take on my request. After that, I left the investigation firm and decided to go home. When I got home, my cheating wife was waiting there wearing quite sexy clothes. At this point, I thought my cheating wife's plan was about to be carried out and finally she started to take actions. My cheating wife embraced me and started talking while looking into my eyes. "Darling, wanna have sex?" Saying that, she tried to pull my hand and get into bed together. I shook off my cheating wife's hand and tried to leave without a word. "Come on." My cheating wife tried to seduce me, but I completely ignored her and ran out of the house. Now the tables were turned, but I thought contacting my cheating wife now would be disadvantageous. So I decided to leave the house and refuse contact until the investigator finished gathering evidence. After I left, I received many messages from my cheating wife, and my phone was ringing like crazy. "Darling, come home soon. I'll support that you can concentrate on treatment. Are you angry that I left? Then I'll apologize, so come home. Right now, I'm waiting naked on our bed. I'll be waiting for you like this until you come home. I received messages like this and obscene pictures. Her actions showed she had a loose screw or two. After this, I ignored her messages and planned to stay at a hotel for now without going home. By the way, you may wonder why I, who had a credit card with revolving payments from my cheating wife's excessive shopping, got the money for the investigation fees and hotel. When I became a working adult, I had received money from my father. I got it as celebration of finding employment, but I didn't want to touch this money. I thought if I touched it, that'd mean I was relying on my father. I had planned to return this money to my father in the same amount after a few years without touching it. But my cheating wife's wastefulness was excessive, so I had no choice but to use this money. I felt really pathetic about this and was on the verge of giving up on myself. But for this case, I planned to make up for the money I used and the money she used with the consolation money. As I continued going to work from the hotel for a few days like this, I got a call from the investigator. They gathered evidence as well as it's solid, so I immediately headed to the investigation firm. When I arrived at the firm, the investigator was waiting and many photographs were laid out in front of him. Looking at the photos, it showed my cheating wife and the other man I saw at the hospital the other day were together. The investigator had even recorded audio for me, so I listened to that as well. I don't know why, but he is ignoring me and won't come home at all. I'm getting really pissed off. To be looked down on by such a jerk. He'll come back eventually if you wait, I guess? Or you could barge into his company, saying my husband assaulted me. He's the worst kind of person. If that happened, he'll be fired. I want to divorce such a man quickly and want to be with you. My cheating wife and the man were saying what they wanted. I couldn't believe my ears. But I thought if this much evidence has been gathered, I can fight back against my cheating wife and the man. And I requested the investigator one more thing, using my cheating wife's plan against her. The investigator accepted that request, and I decided to take action. A few days later, the day came to execute what I had planned. As I was working at the company as usual, a certain person barged into the company. Is my father-in-law here? Please listen. My husband won't make a child with me. On top of that, he hit me. Is it okay to allow this? The one who came to the company was my cheating wife, forcibly executing her improbable plan. But my father's reaction was cold. He didn't respond to my cheating wife at all. Why are you ignoring me? Don't tell me you're on his side, are you? He's done terrible things to me. Are you going to spoil him just because he's your son? My cheating wife expressed anger at my father, but he completely ignored her. He didn't even look in my cheating wife's direction and didn't respond to her. Are you seriously going to react like this? I'm furious. This could even be called a crime. I could go straight to the police. If you understand, make him come home. My cheating wife was saying unbelievable things, but I thought it was about time to reveal the truth, so I stepped forward. Hey, no matter what you say, the president won't say anything, and you have no allies in this company. Huh? What are you saying? My cheating wife got angry and yelled at me. I know all about your plans. I shared that with the people at the company too. As I said that, I displayed the evidence photos I got from the investigator on the large screen of the company. Then, using the microphone for in-company broadcasts, I played the audio the investigator recorded for me. Huh? Why do you have this? Stop it. Stop. My cheating wife said things like this, but I ignored her and didn't stop. I told you to stop. And how did you even know the day I would come here? That was the additional request I made to the investigator. I thought if we knew the day my cheating wife would barge into the company, it would be easier to take countermeasures. So I thought it would be great if the investigator could find that out. But my cheating wife and the other man were stupid enough that they talked about today's plan outside. The investigator properly heard that for me, so I found out the execution date for today's plan. So I told everyone at the company everything before then and let them know the real story behind today's plan. My cheating wife probably wouldn't know that I do such things behind her back, but I had an even bigger present for her. I'm not fully aware of what you're doing, but your plan was predictable. Anyway, I have the greatest present for you. I'd like you to accept it if possible. As I said this, my cheating wife looked puzzled, but she didn't seem to feel good and was dripping with cold sweat. And at the same time as I said these words, two people came to where we were. Seeing their faces, my cheating wife sweated even more and her legs were shaking. Dad. Mom. Why, how? That's right, the ones I called were my wife's parents, and my father-in-law's face was bright red with anger. My mother-in-law was crying, her emotions exploding over this incident. I'm truly sorry for what my daughter did. I deeply regret. My father-in-law said that and apologized along with my mother-in-law. Perhaps finding this unacceptable, my cheating wife shouted at her father. Why are you apologizing, Dad? Aren't you my father? I'm your daughter, so take my side. His father is taking his side too, right? What my cheating wife was saying made no sense, but she probably couldn't make level-headed judgments anymore. What are you saying? As my father-in-law shouted at my cheating wife, my own father unexpectedly raised his voice. If my son had actually done what you said, I wouldn't have helped him and may have kicked him out of the company. But this time, my son hasn't done anything wrong. I decided based on who was right, not because he's my son. That's why your father is angry. It's best not to mix it up. At my father's words, my cheating wife was completely dejected, but I decided to tell her my final message. Hey, thanks for everything until now. It's unfortunate it turned out like this. From now on, whether you get together with that man or have his child has nothing to do with me. I'm divorcing you and starting a new life. I'll also properly claim consolation money then. You better remember this is what happens when you do bad things. At my words, my cheating wife crumbled to the ground in tears, and my revenge ended. The protagonist's plan crumbled the cheating wife's scheme, and he cut ties with her. The cheating wife, whose relationship with the other man was completely exposed, what will happen to her now? And what will happen to the protagonist after this? My divorce with my cheating wife was finalized, and I successfully claimed $80,000 in consolation money. It seems my cheating wife's parents paid the consolation money on her behalf because they didn't want to cause me any more trouble. My wife's parents apologized to me many times over this incident, and I felt a bit sorry for them. It was decided my cheating wife's child would be raised by her parents, and she was disowned by them. After that, unable to find a place to live, my cheating wife is apparently homeless now. Because she has no mobile phone and also no accommodation, she's struggling to find a job. But that's not my concern, so I'm ignoring it. The other man too is in hugely debt from the consolation money and seems to be working without sleep to pay it back. After this incident, I got a new girlfriend, and I was able to successfully build a physical relationship with her. I finally lost my virginity, I'm doing well at work, and I just hope this happiness continues. Thanks for reading this far. Good work. Congrats on losing your virginity. Do your best every night from now on. The protagonist gave punishment his cheating wife and the other man, and seems to have settled the past. And since he resolved his troubles, it looks like he'll be having a happy life from now on. We hope the protagonist will be happy in the future. Please let us know how you liked today's video in the comments.